Well, good afternoon and welcome to our live stream. This is titled How to Live Stream at Your Church for the First Time. Obviously, we are in a different time here in this world. It's not even a local thing, a national thing, it's an all global thing where we are dealing with COVID-19. And churches are put in this uncomfortable spot where they must live stream in order to reach their people. Many churches have chosen to close for the weekends in the upcoming weeks, an indefinite amount of time. At my church, that's what we have decided, is that we will go to only live stream. And that's a challenging thing, especially for those of us who have never done live stream at our church before. My church's building is really not set up for it. It's an expensive process, and so we've never done this before. But last night, for the first time, we were able to do a live stream of our Lenten service, and it worked out really well. Now, I've had a lot of experience doing live streams through Concordia Technology Solutions, and so I was able to help out, but it's a different dynamic when we move into worship. But it's not just worship that we're talking about. Meetings need to happen still. Bible studies, Sunday school. In the elementary schools, we have classes that need to be taught, and confirmation classes for the young adults. There's so much that can't be put on pause. It's too important to just say, well, we'll wait till this is all over, because we don't know when it's going to be all over. So today what I'd like to show you is a simple process to live stream at your church. Now, we'll talk a lot about worship services, but again, this is far beyond worship services. The other thing that I want to mention is that this is for people who don't have a lot of money, or churches that don't have a lot of money, and don't have a lot of time to figure out what's going on, but want to do something a little bit more than just a cell phone video. Now, there's a lot of resources out there. If all you want to do is do a single cell phone live video on Facebook or YouTube or Instagram or any of these other channels, that's not too hard. You can find a lot of information out there. And honestly, in many cases, that's sufficient. So don't be ashamed if that's the way you want to go. I've seen many of my friends who are pastors who are doing it, and it's turning out great. It's a great way to engage with your congregation, with your members, in a way that is meaningful. But if you were looking to go a little bit beyond, and you might have some time available, there's only so many things we can do right now. I want to walk you through this process of setting up a live stream where you can do some nice things. So for example, if you wanted to use information or put information on your screen, if I wanted to put my name up here like that, that's not too hard to do. Now, typically, you probably would have somebody else helping you out so that you're not looking at the camera and looking at the screen like I'm doing today. But we're short staffed here at CPH, at Concordia Technology Solutions. All of our team is either working hard right now, still here, or a lot of people are at home. And that's going to be the same for you. So this is going to be a process that you can do with just one person. It works out better if you have more than that. If you're in worship, you'll probably need about 3 people. That's what we did last night. We actually had 4, which was helpful, but we could have made it on 3. We had our pastor, we had our music director, and me doing the cameras. And it wasn't too bad. It worked out really well. So let's dig into this process. And if you have any questions, please go ahead and put it in the chat. I see a few people commented. You're very welcome. I'm happy to do this. I hope this goes smoothly. The goal for today is for me to walk through this process and actually go live on a Facebook page. This is kind of a meta thing. I'm going to go live while I'm going live while training you on how to go live. It's a little bit complicated, and I'll warn you, I'm using multiple computers here. My computer over on this side, where I've got quite a bit going on, where I'm streaming the desktop into my other computer, it's running a little bit slow. This one that I'm on right now seems to be going just fine. So bear with me if we have any issues. Most of it is with the internet, with Facebook. It's going slow for me. But I appreciate your patience in advance. This is something I've never done before where I've gone live while being live, but it'll be fun. So the goal for today is to go through all the process of setting up the software, kind of the basic tasks that you need to get moving with it. And then I'm going to go live on the CPH Facebook page. In case you're not familiar, Concordia Technology Solutions is the church administration division of Concordia Publishing House. So we are one and the same, but we go to market with different things. CTS is for software, CPH is for everything. So we're going to go live on the CPH Facebook page to talk about some of the free resources that we're putting out. So that's the goal. Let's get started. So I've got some title slides here. The first thing is to install OBS. Now, OBS is a funny acronym for Open Broadcaster Software. And this is something that I'm using right now, that we will be using for the live video. And it's actually a free resource that you can go and download yourself. Now, at CTS, at CPH here, we are not connected with OBS at all. So we make no claims that it'll work or anything like that, but a lot of people use it, and we've used it for a number of years. It's free, it's an open source kind of thing where you can go and download it, and it works great. So let me move over to the screen. Let me transition here. So if you want to follow along, and I highly recommend you do that, what you'll need to do is go to obsproject.com. And when you get there, you'll be on this exact same website that I'm on. And I'll kind of go slowly so you've got a chance to do this. Now, you may not have access, depending on your system administration, you may not have access to download this or install it on your own. That's going to be something you'll have to talk with your tech team about. But it's a pretty straightforward process. So I'm on a Windows computer. I click on Windows. It'll open up a new tab and automatically begin to download the application file. Once I download that file, I'm not going to do it now. I don't want to use my different resources on my computer. But once I do that and I install it, it opens up very quickly. So what I'm going to do next is shift over, and we'll go, let me close this. Again, I don't want to use up all my resources. I'm going to go ahead and shift over to my other desktop. My other desktop is going to be where we stream this. And the reason I'm doing that is because we're going to be looking at video, and I'll create an infinity loop if I'm showing you the exact one I'm broadcasting from. So it'll be a little bit different. Bear with me as I get this set up. Here we go. And let me turn off the text. All right. Now, this is OBS on my other computer. It is a pretty blank slate. Now, the first thing you want to do is get familiar with the lay of the land. And if you're still installing it, don't worry. It doesn't take too long, but it does take a few seconds to get up and running. So you will probably, when you first see it, have it look like this, where there are a number of different things at the bottom. We'll go through each of those. Now, I'll warn you, I'm not a complete expert at this. This is one of those things where experience is good. You don't need an expert for getting up and running. But there's lots of help articles online. A lot of people use this. So if you're wanting to get even more advanced than what I'm showing you today, there's lots of resources. And I'm going to show one in just a moment that was really helpful to me. But the first thing I want to do is show you how to get into studio mode, because I find that to be most helpful. First, you go down here into this lower right-hand corner and click Studio Mode. And I think I can zoom in for you. Hang on just a second so you can see what I'm talking about. There we go. So down here in the lower right, there's Studio Mode. And when you click on that, you actually get a split screen. I'm going to switch back to the full view for you for a second. So this full screen is how I like to have everything set up, because it gives me an idea of what is going to happen and what is happening live right now. And on my screen for this broadcast, I've got it set up like this, and that's what we'll be doing for our broadcast to the CPH Facebook page. So on the left-hand side, you'll see up at the top, it says Preview. That's what's going to be showing when you want it to show. And Program is the live view. So that's pretty straightforward. Hopefully that makes sense. A lot of other broadcasting softwares are just like this. There's others that I've used before that have, the ability to see all of your things previewed. So just know that this is really basic, and that's all you need for right now. Okay, the first thing I want to talk about is the settings. The settings is in the lower right-hand corner, right back by that studio mode. If you click on settings there, it's going to pop up a number of different things. All right, we'll transition back to this. And then for right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my browser window over here. And there is a great blog post that is about how to make your stream run more smoothly. So this is from Stream Elements. I don't know who they are, but their information worked for me. So when I was testing this out the other day, it was running a little bit slow, and I was like, I need to make this run better. So they gave me a number of tips. And what I'll do is I'll copy this link, and I'm going to paste it into the chat. So if you need help, you can go and look at that. But we're going to go through a few of these things. It goes through a number of the different settings. So let me switch back to OBS. Pardon me 1 second while I do that. There we go. Here we are. So the first thing we want to do is go to the output. Now, there's a lot of information on here that I don't know exactly what it means, but I know that it works. And again, this is because I'm not an expert, but I can help you with this to the point where it works out very well. So the first thing is the video bit rate. This is about how much you're sending as you're going in that output. So they recommend around 3,500. If you find that your video is choppy or not working out so well, you may want to reduce this some. In the blog post, it talks about how I believe around 2,000 is really the minimum that you want to do. The next thing is the encoder. The encoder has the option of software or hardware. According to the blog post, hardware is going to use up less of your resources and make it more efficient. So we'll switch it to hardware. In fact, I bet you I can zoom in for you on this as well. Hang on 1 second. There we go. Hopefully you can see that a bit better. So 3,500 kbps. Your encoder is hardware. Audio bitrate. I believe it recommended 160, but when I put 160, it gave me this error message and said, if you want to go over 128, you're going to have to do some other stuff. I'm not too worried about that. I'm going to go down to 128 just to be safe. Then under here, you probably have it unchecked to start where it says enable advanced encoder settings. Go ahead and check that and enforce the streaming bitrate limits and go for speed. Again, if depending on your internet connection, you don't want to be sending too much up there. So we're just going to keep it at that speed. All right, the next thing we're going to do is go over to video. I'll make sure you can still see that. Good. So the video aspect of that, we don't have a camera plugged in yet. Looks like it's all undone. So we will come back to that. But just a quick thing, there's the base, the canvas resolution, and then there's the output resolution. And so as you can see here in the gray, and we'll come back and look at that in a few minutes, it's 1920 by 1080, and then my output is going down to 1280 by 720, just to make the video quality a little bit less, but that means it'll run more smoothly. Okay, we'll click OK and go back to that. So the next thing we need to do is set up some devices. And I'm going to switch back over here. Whoops, there we go. That'll be a little bit better. I'm going to talk about devices for a minute. When all of this really started to happen and churches were scrambling, I knew I had some equipment here at CPH for things like this that I do on a regular basis. But I knew that my church didn't have any of this. So I went online and ordered a few things right away just so that we could have it. And I would encourage you to do the same as soon as possible, because as I was looking last night, there's a lot of great products out there that said we'll ship in a couple weeks or are out of stock. I can't guarantee that you can get this right now, but I would bet that if you can't, somebody in your congregation has devices like this, because what we're talking about is not really anything fancy whatsoever. So the first thing you're going to want is a nice webcam. And by nice, I don't mean extravagant. I use a Logitech that has high definition of 1080 pixels. This is not 4K. This is not anything really high end. You can find a lot of cameras out there that have this that are around $100, give or take a little bit. I think the one that I ordered the other day for my church was closer to $50 because I had good reviews and I had that 1080. That's all I needed. Now this is not a perfect, nice zoom in kind of thing, but it gets the job done. And that's all we really need at this point in time. And I'm hoping that we don't have a lot of time to perfect this and we get back to regular worship, but you might have some time to perfect this. And so start off at a lower level and then grow from there. Again, I would encourage you to look today. Logitech has been my brand of choice. There's a lot of blog posts out there. You could just look for high quality, low price webcams and do that. I'm going to move mine up over here to show you what I'll be using in just a second. So we're going to go up there. I've got this nice little Microsoft webcam. This is nothing special. This is one that we use in one of our conference rooms, and I took it for the video today. So, whoops, pardon me. So again, we're not talking about anything fancy. If you can't get that, you could even go to the webcam that's in your laptop. There's a lot of really high quality cameras in laptops these days. So I would encourage you to look at that if you don't have that option. All right, audio is the next step. Now, what I like to use for webinars like this is what's called a Blue Yeti. That sounds very silly. Blue is the name of the company. Yeti is the type of mic. And I've actually got two of them here. One of them is for my computer that I'm going to be streaming from CPH, and the other is the one I'm using right now. I'm not going to touch that because it'll be loud. But it looks like this. It's relatively inexpensive. It's a little over $100. It comes in a box just like this. I got a refurbished one for under $100, and nobody's telling me that it's not working, so I think it is working out just fine for me. In a worship service, this is not ideal. It's not going to be the perfect scenario, but I can tell you we've used this for different events. We had an organ series a few years ago, and I used the Blue Yeti, and it worked out great. It's not going to be crystal clear sound, but it's going to be more than enough for what you need. Now, the cords, you may need to order a longer cord so that you can have the camera a little bit farther back and have the microphone up closer. That's something you'll have to look at depending on your space. If you're doing something like what I'm doing here, this will work out great for like Bible studies and stuff. You don't need to have anything else besides these two things because they work really good for up close. It's when you start having a wider space in your sanctuary that it begins to be a problem. But the goal for today is to have a live stream where you can have other things showing up on the screen. So that's the real purpose, where you can have an interactive live stream. So these type of devices will work just fine. Now, at my church last night, our music director was able to connect our speaker system directly into the laptop, in through the regular audio input. It worked fantastically, and we didn't have to buy anything. I don't know all the details of it, but it was just like plugging in headphones. So that worked out really well. The first thing we had to do, though, was make sure it was set to input and not output, and then it was fine. So the audio is a key part. You'll see a lot of different places that as long as your audio is okay, your video quality can be poor. But the inverse of that, high video, low audio, will not keep people engaged. All right, so we've got our devices. Let's get them set up in OBS. So I'm going to switch back over here, and I'll show you how to work that. All right. So down here in the lower center, and I'll zoom in. Let me get my screen set up. This is a moving target right now, so thank you for your patience. All right, we're going to zoom in down here. You'll see there's desktop audio and then the mic and the auxiliary input. Now, this desktop audio I have turned off right now because I don't want any of my notifications, my Windows sound, anything like that coming across on my stream. So that is just turned off. But the mic and the audio is turned on. Now, right now I'm not getting too much. I'm not speaking to it. If I was, I would increase my gain on the back of it. You can see now it's going out. This is not the audio you're listening to. This is on my other Yeti. But if you are finding that your microphone is not setting up, the first thing you want to do is click the settings button and then go to properties. And this property will let you see exactly what device. Let me zoom in so you can see it. There we go. So I've got a couple different things here. I have my Yeti stereo microphone, my desktop microphone. This is coming from my webcam. Then I also have my Realtek audio. That is my laptop audio. And then default, which is based on the system. It's going to be one of those three. So you've got a number of different options. Oops. I'm getting notifications that my live video is starting. Hopefully everything's working well. We got a bunch of people watching. So, all right, I'm going to go to the Yeti stereo microphone, and I'm going to go down here, click OK. So my audio is working. Now let's go over here, and I'm going to zoom in on the right-hand side. we'll transition over there. There you go. Okay, this area here is called your scenes. And in fact, I think I've got some nice slides that are supposed to go through this process, right? I wanted to show you, here we go. See, I can add in more. That's almost like a PowerPoint. So we're setting up our devices right now. I got to remember I have multiple steps. That was my goal for today, to show you just multiple steps that you can follow at your church. All right, back to here. So we are going to go and set up our different scenes. I do have a slide for that. There we go. That doesn't add too much value, but I'll switch back. So your scenes are essentially the type of views that you want, and you can bring in different resources into these scenes. So the first scene I want to do is my camera. Obviously, that's a key part of the live stream, is being able to see the camera. So I'm going to click down here, and then I'm going to go to Video Capture Device. And I can name this. I'm going to call it my Microsoft webcam, just so that I know what it is. And then we'll give it a second to pop up. All right, that is not my Microsoft webcam, but hopefully you can see me now. We'll make sure that that's coming across. Oh, we'll zoom out for a second. There we go. Okay, so this is actually my laptop webcam over here, or my desktop webcam. This is a little bit different. It's not great quality, so I don't want to stick with this. It's not terrible. It could work if I really wanted to, but I'm going to go and change it to the Microsoft LifeCam Studio, and we'll give it a second to see if that works. There we go. I'm up here now. So this webcam is a little bit higher quality. It gives more options in terms of zoom. I'm not going to do too much with that right now, but I'll go ahead and set the resolution to how I feel it. Let me zoom out entirely over here. And you can kind of see in the background. See, on this left-hand side, this is my scene and where I can place it, and I can adjust it however I need it to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a custom resolution, and I'm going to put it at the highest quality, 1920 by 1080, and click OK. And we'll give it a second, and now it'll fill my canvas. And so that makes sure I have high quality video on that side of things. Now, I can, if I wanted to, I could move it over to the right, and that would be live. Now, I'm not actually streaming, although apparently I'm recording. I'll stop that. I'm not sure when that started, but that was probably during my testing. So I will go ahead and keep this up here. So that's the first thing. So my first part of my scene. So I've got my two devices already set up. I've got my video and my audio flowing through here, and I'm starting to build my presentation. Now I could go live with this right now, but that would be about the same as taking my cell phone and holding it like this. And that's, it's easier to do it that way, but I want to add more to this. So the next thing I'm going to do, I don't think I have any other slides to add to this, so I think we're in good shape. Yeah, we'll keep going over here. The next thing I want to do is add a title slide. So my title slide is going to be what my presentation is about. So if you're doing a worship service, put the day in the church year. You can put what date it is. The reason you want a nice title slide is because after you're done going live, this video is recorded and out there on whatever channel you're putting it. Today we're going on Facebook. And so having a nice title slide available will let that look nicer in the long run. Now the other thing, and you probably saw this if you joined us right at the start, is that it's a good thing to start on when you first stream, before you turn your audio on, before you flip to your video. It's a nice entry point. Now you might want to do something that says, worship will be starting in a few minutes. And you can have a different beginning slide than your ending slide. But that's up to you. So over here, and I will zoom in again so you can see where I'm going. I'm going to go down to the lower right. Okay, down here, I'm going to click and add another scene. I'm going to call this title slide. And you can tell that everything disappeared now because my scene is empty. But over here in my sources, I'm going to go and add an image. Now there's an image slideshow in there, and if you're looking for multiple images, you could try to use that, but that's more meant for automatically advancing the images. We want just a single image. So I'm just going to go with that image name, and then it's going to give me this lookup box. I want to make sure that you guys can see this. And I'm just going to go browse and go to my desktop. Here's my image. And it fills it up for me. So let's go ahead and click OK. And we're going to zoom out again so you can see the entire thing. So today we're talking about be still and know. Use these free resources to lean on Christ during uncertain times. CPH has done a great job of compiling all of these free resources, and we just want to get this information out. That's why we're going live today. So I'm going to transition that. Now that I have a title slide, I'm going to put that up there. And what I like to do is I like to sort my scenes in the way that I'm going to need them. So I'm going to move my title slide up to the top. My scene 1 over here, I'm going to right click it and rename it to be camera. I'll give it a second. This is where things will start to slow down. Nope, actually there it is. Okay, so we've got that. Now another thing you can do is you can add an image like a logo. So I'm going to go ahead and add logo. And I'm going to go to my same spot. I've already got this set aside. Logo. And I'm going to move this down here. So you can actually layer on top. Now you have to have a transparent background for it to look good, but I can layer it on top. And now that's showing up. That's similar to how we do the names. I'll show you that in just a moment. What I want to show you first is that if you have this just loaded up here, these are all dynamic elements, and I can move it and drag and drop it. You could also do that accidentally, and I've done that before while I'm live, and then I have to shift it back in place. There's this nice little lock button here. I'll zoom in so you can see that. So right down next in your sources on the far right, there's some lock buttons, and when you lock it in place, you can't change it anymore, which means you can't accidentally change it, which is a good thing. So let me zoom out again. All right, so I've got that locked in place. Let's go back to the camera. Now you can see me again. It's a good thing to add text to your slides or to your video so that you can kind of describe what's happening. A lot of people will not be watching with audio to start. Now there's a number of different things you can put in there. Right now I'm just going to put in my name so that people can see that. So I'm going to go and click add text. And it gives you this nice text box. I'm going to put name on there. And I can choose my font. Arial is a little bit basic for me. So let's go ahead and go to my favorite, whoops. Well, trying robot. I gotta spell it right. There we go, Roboto. And I'm gonna switch it down to 200, make it bold, click OK. Type in Peter Frank. Now you can see it coming up. Yep, you'll be able to see it right up there. I'm going to add a space before or after, and after that. It doesn't give an option for padding, or at least if it has, I haven't found it yet. And then I'm going to change the background color to a nice dark blue. Now when I clicked dark blue, it surprised me at first because nothing happened. Well, that's because the opacity in the background was all the way on the far end. So I'm going to move this to 100% and click OK. Now I can drag it and move it this way. Now I might not want as much space up on top, so if I go like this, there we go. Let's move that off to the left. Doesn't have to be right below my chin. There we go. That doesn't look bad. I will go ahead and lock my webcam, and lock that. So there we go. So when I move over, you'll be able to see that it's there. Now, that does actually look a little bit larger than I'd probably like, so I can shrink it down just by dragging the corner and pulling it in. All right, we're in good shape there. We'll turn this off for now. Okay, the next thing is I want to show people cph.org. Now, this is the part that's making me a little worried because my internet over here is going slow. It seems like the live video is working. In fact, I'll go over here and make sure I'm not getting any comments. Oh, okay, shoot. Well, it sounds like some of it's a little bit fuzzy. Again, that's because I've been pushing it out through multiple computers. So I apologize for that. Let's go over and, can you still see okay? Yeah. I'm gonna go down here and we're gonna create one more scene. This scene is gonna be my screen capture. Now the important thing with screen capture to remember is that, there we go. The important thing with screen capture is that you have to have a second monitor. That can be a little bit difficult if you're going into a sanctuary. And so if you're wanting to show something live on your screen that is not one of these other things, that's not an image, that's not text, you're going to need another monitor. That's why I'm here in the office today, so that I could have multiple monitors. But I know in the church setting that's not always possible. The problem is that you can't show another screen while you're managing your video, and so it starts to become this loop. So that's why we need that second monitor. But I'll go ahead and show you how to do this just in case. This is totally optional. We're going to go here, add another scene. Let me zoom in. And so you can see where I'm going. We're going to go to device capture. And we'll just leave that name up there. And I'll bring this down. See, there's that fun infinity loop. It just keeps going and going. I'm going to move this to a different monitor. We'll give it a second. Click OK. There we go. All right, so now my CPH page is showing. And I will zoom out so that you can see that. That's what I want to show. Now, I have this monitor showing up by my webcam, and it's going to work out just fine for me. There's some other things that I want to show you in a few minutes, but I'll be able to show a live view of our website. So now, as I go back here, I've got my 3 different scenes. I've got my title slide, I've got my camera, and I've got my web view that I'll be looking at in just a few minutes. All right, so we're in really good shape now. The next thing we're going to do, let me switch back over here to this camera. There we go. The next thing we're going to do is schedule the Facebook Live. And that is always a fun part of this. So I'm going to do that on this computer over here because my internet on the other one is going quite slow, and I don't want this to mess up anything. Now, there's a few aspects of this that I'll have to be careful about. First and foremost is I'll be showing our Facebook account. There's not really any confidential information, but it's going to look different than yours. And so I want to make sure to clarify that when you go in and look at yours, you might have some different settings. There's a new thing called Creator Studio that not everybody has opted into yet, or it might not even be given to everybody. I realized that during my testing with some of our test accounts. So that's one of those kind of disclaimers that I want to bring up. But let's go ahead and move over to our screen. There we go. Okay. So this is our CPH Facebook page. And when I go to Creator Studio, and I'm not going to click on it because it actually shows all of my different things, it's going to come over here. Let me zoom in a little bit more so that you can see this. And I'm going to go and click Create Post, or rather Go Live over here. You can actually get to it in both places. When I click Go Live, that doesn't mean I go live instantly. That always makes me a little nervous that I'm going to just be on the internet all of a sudden. That is not the case. I've got a number of different things that show up here. Let's go ahead. I want to zoom in a little bit so you can focus on where I'm looking. Okay. So in the left-hand corner, you can see a bunch of different settings. I want to share this on a page that I manage, and that's Concordia Publishing House. I get a place to put my post, and then I get a title that I can put in there. I can also add tags or share it to a group. I'm not going to worry about those today. There's a number of things that that's helpful for, but today we're going pretty basic. So let me scroll down here. I've got my copy already written so that I don't have to worry about you guys watching me type. And I'm going to put my title as Be Still and Know Free Resources from CPH. And then over here, I'm going to copy and paste. There we go. And I'll take out my bullet point. As you can tell, it's from an outline. When worries and fears arise, we rely on God's powerful, comforting word. Watch this live video to learn more about the free resources for worship, prayer, and meditation on God's word from Concordia Publishing House. This is really basic. I'm not going over the top here. I just want to show a little bit. All right. The next thing I want to call out is over on the left-hand side, and I will make sure you can see that. This here, there's a number of things that are important if you're using other software, but with OBS, the only thing you really need to worry about is this stream key. So this stream key is what allows you to feed into Facebook. OBS has a solution where it automatically tracks the server URL, so you don't have to worry about that. But that stream key is what's telling about this specific session. So this session is got a very unique code. You're not even going to be able to really write it down just by seeing on the screen. So they put this nice copy button, copies it to the clipboard, and we'll put it across into OBS. The problem is that today I have multiple computers. So I'm on this computer, which has the better internet. I'm going to move it over here in a few minutes. So I'll show you how that works in a second. But I wanted to show you that now while I'm on the screen. Okay, let me go back into the full view. On the far right-hand corner is where we go to schedule. So I got 1:35 Central Time right now. I've got only a few more things left before we go live. So I'm going to go ahead and click schedule. And I'm going to put this at 1:50 p.m. All right, and honestly, I should have moved over my my title slide. That would have been helpful, but that's okay. It's just going to go here, and I'll adjust that when I get back to my other computer. So 3:19 at 1:50 p.m. That's about 15 minutes away. That looks good. All right, I'm going to go ahead and schedule that. This part always makes me a little bit nervous because now it's being announced to the world. So if you are on our CPH Facebook page, you'll get notified about that. That's an exciting thing that it automatically pushes it out to all of your followers. Now, people can choose to turn off notifications or turn on notifications. This is why it's important to ask people to follow you and to turn on those notifications. All right, let's go back over to my other computer. Here we go. Whoops, I'll switch the screen over. We want to talk about a few things. There we go. We want to talk about a few things that you're going to do to get yourself ready for this live video. Now, you'll see on the screen here, I've got my taskbar at the bottom. That's a rather unprofessional thing to do, but I left it up here for right now so that I could show you how to turn it off. So I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to go to taskbar settings. And this is Windows 10. If your system is different, it'll be a different experience, but I know a lot of people are using Windows 10. And I'm going to automatically hide the taskbar in desktop mode. All right, so that looks better. I can see it on that screen over there. Good. Now the next thing is that I'm going to go and I'll show you on my screen capture. Whoops. Uh-oh. My display is not working. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to go up here. And I'm going to take out and hide all my Chrome extensions in the top right. And I'm going to turn off my bookmarks. I want it to be as clean as possible. That's always a key thing. You don't want to distract people from the main point. The next thing I'm going to do is go into my Facebook page. And this is what worries me a little bit, is that it's going really slow. Now this is a Facebook issue. It's not something that I can really address right now. On my end, so we're going to have to be patient, and this makes me a little bit nervous. So while that loads, you can see that in the background. I'm going to go down here to the settings, and actually I'll zoom in so you can see this. Give it a quick second. All right, under settings where we were before, I'm going to go to stream, and my service is Facebook Live. So Facebook Live has that default server that works just fine, and then you have this place for the stream key. Now the stream key is only created when I am there to set up the live video. So I can't do this too far out in advance. 15 minutes isn't given a lot of time, so this is fun. I'm under the gun. There's some high pressure here. All right, the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go and drag my screen all the way down here so that you can see it. Give it a second for everything to catch up. And I do apologize for any lag. Again, I've got multiple things connected to the internet, even in hardwire, and I've noticed that the internet has been rather slow the last few days to begin with. So I don't know if it's just all the additional activity. So I'm going to wait a second while this loads so that I can get to my post. In the meantime, I'll come back over here and talk about a few other things. Let me go to my camera. Okay, while that loads, you don't need to watch the load. It's frustrating enough when it's your own computer. It's probably even more frustrating when it's somebody else's. So a couple things you want to do. One thing I always do when I get ready to go live is I put a sign on my door and close it, because I don't want these interruptions. You probably all saw that video of the gentleman who was working at home. I think he was on an interview at CNN or something like that, and his daughter came running through. You know, that is one of those things where it's funny and it's cute, but you'd rather not have that happen with a coworker, or your pastor comes walking in, or if you're the pastor, having somebody else coming in and distracting from it. So make sure the people around you know that it's live. The next thing that you want to do is go in here and turn off your cell phone, or at least, at the very least, turn off the volume. So I've got my ringer set to vibrate, and I'll put it away. I don't want to be distracted by that. Now, if you're having a smartwatch, it might be a good thing to go into Do Not Disturb mode. There we go. I don't want that distraction. I had that during a webinar where all of a sudden somebody called me and my phone was turned to silent, but my watch kept buzzing and buzzing and buzzing. It was distracting. Then I go over to my desk phone and I forward it to voicemail. Again, I don't want that distraction. And once the phone starts ringing, unless you pick it up and hang up on it, which is very rude, you can't really get it to shut off. So send it to voicemail right off the bat. Okay, now I'm going to jump back over here because I think we're good and ready to go. The nice thing is that as long as my stream is going okay, I don't have to worry too much about my internet. Although, well, it's still loading up. I'm also using an internet service. There we go. I'm using an internet service to show you my other desktop. Okay. Good, that's working. So this is my post where we're going to go live. I'm going to go over here to edit your details. Admin only, edit your details. And this is going to take me back to that screen that we were on before. This is going to allow me to get that stream key and plug it into OBS. All right, we're going to go back over here to OBS. I've copied it to my clipboard. I'm pasting it in and I'm clicking OK. All right, the next thing I want to do is, actually I'm going to test my audio a little bit. It doesn't seem to be as high as I'd like it. I'll turn it off, turn it on. In fact, I can put my camera on so you can see me. So I've got my audio working. It's not bad. I'm going to leave it alone. There's only so much I can do on it, but it is working, so we're good on that. So the next thing I want to do is start my stream so that oh, actually, we'll go here to edit schedule. I wanted to show you the ability to upload an image. Oh, I'm already within 10 minutes, so I can't do that. So we won't worry about that today. I should have prepared for that image, but you can upload an image so it's a different preview. That's what I did for today's live stream. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and mute this mic and start streaming. Are you sure you want to start streaming? Yes. What that means is that my feed will start going out to Facebook. It doesn't mean that I'm live on Facebook yet. It means that OBS is streaming. And then Facebook will stream in a few minutes. So let's go ahead and say yes. All right, so now here I am. I'll give it a second. I got about 7 minutes before the start of my stream. I don't have to wait those full 7 minutes, but I do want to talk through some of this. So, how's that working for you? So far, so good, I think. I'm going to give it another second. There you go. You can see my title slide. All right. I am sorry. I am zoomed in. Let me sneak back out here. It is hard to manage all of my different screens, so I appreciate your patience. But this is what the live stream, Facebook Live looks like beforehand. So OBS is feeding to Facebook. I've got my countdown here. I got about 6 minutes and 13 seconds before I go. You can tell that it's already feeding out, and that's a good sign. Now, I also have it on my computer over here if I wanted to look at that. I'm not going to worry about that right now, but it would be okay to have a different device. If you've got a tablet or something, and we'll go ahead and switch it back over to the camera for a second because that's not a really interesting look. So if you have like a tablet or something else, it might be good to pull this up, that Facebook page up, so that you can be monitoring comments, or better yet, if there's somebody else available to monitor comments, you can do that. Now, it can be done in a one-man show like I'm doing right now. Like I can see a number of people have joined. One of the fun things is to see people that you know have joined. So like Allie is on, Jordan is on, people that I know from very different walks of life, and they're both here watching me today. So that's a lot of fun. Last night as we were streaming, I was able to see all of the different members from our church who joined. You can also interact with them there. So once we go live, you'll see that on this side of things, exactly what like that admin view. So when I go live, I will be in OBS, but you'll be able to, I'll do it for a minute. I'll show you what the Facebook side looks like before I actually switch into OBS. And then once I go live, I'll be focused on that, and we'll come back around in just a minute, and we'll talk through that and wrap up for today. All right. If you have any questions right now, please go ahead and put them in the chat. I got about 4 minutes, so I'm going to go back over onto this side. Let me switch you to this screen, and I want to make sure I am ready to go. I'm going to move that out. So again, I've got the title site. Yeah, it's going really slow right now. Hopefully for you guys, it's not too terrible. There's just a lot happening. Yeah, even my... it's gotten very dark all of a sudden on my camera. That's not good. Well, once I start, pardon me, I have this thing with my monitors where sometimes they go off, and that really messed with the coloring here. All right, I think I'm in good shape. So in just a moment, I'm going to go live on here. We've got about 4 minutes before we're supposed to. I'm getting worried about my video quality, so I might go and go ahead live sooner rather than later. So let me show you how to do that. Whew, that is really going slow. Thank you for your patience as we're going through this. So many things and so little internet available. All right, so in the lower right-hand corner, there's this opportunity for a manual start. If I waited for my countdown, it would automatically turn on, but I don't think I'm going to wait. I'm going to go ahead. Oops. Well, now my screen is adjusting for me. Yeah, this was my fear, is that this part of that process would just have too much going on. We'll switch back over here for a second. So I do apologize for that. We're going to give it a second. The great thing is that my video will go live regardless because I've scheduled it, and my stream is already going out. So as long as I have that going, I don't have to worry about the admin view as much. It's a little bit unnerving to just go live. And sometimes I'll pull it up on my phone so I can make sure that it's going. And I just keep it on mute, and I keep this ready to go. Let's see. Yep. All right. So I've only got another minute or so. I think we're just about ready to go. You can see all the flashing on the back side of. All right, let me go here and go to the Facebook Live video on my phone. Oh, good. I'm going to go ahead and manually start that. I've got myself muted. I hope you're following along on the Facebook page, too. If you aren't, you can go to Concordia Publishing House. and watch where it is there. You'll see my post. It's going to be ready to go in just a few minutes. It might be ready to go before I even get a chance to manually start it. All right. All right, I'm going to go live. Now I have my audio turned off, and I have my video set to my title slide. And I already clicked it to manual start and go live. So when I go live, there we go, I've been going live for about 10 seconds. I'm just on my title slide, nothing else. So I will transition my screen over here so you can see what I'm seeing. And I'm going to close this in just a minute because it'll still continue to go while I'm there. Let me go ahead and make sure that it is showing on our page. I'm not seeing it. If you're seeing it, add a comment in there. I know we've got several people still watching live here. I'd be curious if you're both doing it. Yep, live now. Good. Yeah, all right. I'll show you. So you may not be able to see it too well, but there I am. I am live. I've been going live for a few seconds. So I'm going to close out on this screen here. And that way my internet's not as bad. I'm going to make sure, there we go, my screen capture is working. Go back to my title slide and then to my camera. Let's see, my camera sometimes doesn't work, so let me go ahead and reset this real quick. Deactivate, activate. And that's the thing, you don't want to leave your audience on there for too long, but you have a few seconds that they can watch the title slide while you're getting ready. So I'm going to turn on my audio in just a second and we'll be live. Well, good afternoon and welcome to our live broadcast here from Concordia Publishing House. My name is Peter Frank. I'm the Senior Manager of Marketing Technology. And I'd like to show you some of the free resources that we are making available during this very difficult time, as all of us are dealing with this new reality of COVID-19. It's something that none of us have experienced in this capacity in our lifetimes, and we're all kind of adjusting. So here at Concordia Publishing House, we want to help our churches and our church workers and our laity stay in God's Word during this very tough time. One of the advantages of this is that we've got some more time, and what better way to use our time than to spend it in God's Word. So I'm going to show you a few things today. The first thing, let me go, and bear with me as we are working on our technology. I'm going to transition over here. There we go. So the first thing I want to encourage you to do is go to cph.org. cph.org is our website, and the first thing you're going to see up at the top is Be Still and Know. We've got 3 different categories for you of free resources. First, under For Home, when you go and browse these resources, pardon me a second now while my internet is a little bit slow. These are resources for families, for parents, for them to use with their kids. This is a way to keep your whole family involved in God's Word. So when we get to the home, you'll see that we have a free issue of my devotions, happy times, family time devotions, portals of prayer for times of trouble, today's light, and our everyday faith calendar. So as you click on any one of these, you'll be able to download a PDF. So this family time devotions PDF. We'll see my internet is going very slow. I do apologize. I bet you yours is going a little bit quicker. My streaming is what's making this so slow. Pardon me a second while I wait for that. Well, actually, if that doesn't download, I will go right back into study. Here we go. We'll go to For Study. So those are our family devotionals, our free resources for families. And again, you can go there by going to cph.org and clicking on the For Family resources. Our next one is for studying at home. These are resources for church workers so that they can use them to continue Bible study in their congregation. You, of course, can use these at home too, but these were really designed for group studies. We've got free CPH faith courses, our video-based Bible studies that you can access. Many of them are our premium courses. We've had a lot of free ones to begin with, but we encourage you to access those. We have a longer look at the lessons Bible study, which is tied to the lectionary. Books of the Bible study questions. These are resources that we've compiled over many years and put them together, available for download. Our Luther's Small Catechism apps on both iOS and Android are available. There's the free version, and then there's an extended version that is paid that gets you the newest explanation. And then we also have free downloadable Sunday school lessons. These are all available for you, again, at cph.org under the For Study. Now, under the For Worship, these are resources that are meant for congregational use. And we've got a number of things there. One of the most important things that we are offering right now is the ability to have a free promotional license to Lutheran Service Builder. Lutheran Service Builder is our service planner that is online, and through that free subscription that'll go till April 15th, you are given the rights to stream your services. So you can stream it just like I'm doing now on Facebook Live, or any of the other number of streaming services are available. We also are offering a free order of daily prayer with hymns, a free issue of Concordia pulpit resources, church year devotions, and Lenten Easter music. There's a number of different things here, and I encourage you to take a look and see what is available for your congregation. If you go and click under the Get Started for the Service Builder Streaming License Trial, it'll take you to a blog post, and there's a video there where I walk you through all of the different details on how to get started with Lutheran Service Builder. All right. Well, thank you very much for watching. This is just a short video to draw your attention to these free resources. We encourage you to take a look at them and let us know if you have any questions. Thank you so much, and have a blessed day in the Lord. Okay, well, I'm going to switch back over here. Good, I've still got a few people watching. You didn't all move over to the CPH Facebook page. You see, it's that simple. You can go online and stream that as soon as you're done. All I did is hit the stop streaming. In fact, I'll hit stop recording as well, just so that I don't go too far with that. And that's how simple it is to get up and running with streaming. Now, there's a number of different steps, I know. It's not as simple as doing a Facebook Live on your phone, but it works. It works. It gives you a lot of opportunities for how to add additional things to your streaming, and it's very inexpensive, especially OBS, which is free. I think that's about all I had for today. I'm happy to answer any questions. I know I put a lot out there for you, but one of the key things to do at the end of the webinar is to answer those questions. Go through any comments that you have. Let me take a look here at the stream. Is Creator Studio available? How do we check? That is something that I'll have to get back to you on. I don't know too much about those details on Creator Studio, but you can do this even without Creator Studio. It's just a different UI. Now that live part, that part I showed you, that is available regardless for you. So you can do that as long as you have a Facebook page. And the OBS is what feeds into that. There are a number of other Creator Studio type things, or studio things like Livestream Studio, which does the same sort of thing, but there might be different costs associated with it. A few last thoughts before I leave you. Once you have this video on Facebook, you can download it and upload it elsewhere. Now, Facebook doesn't really like you taking content off their platform, so it's going to be a little bit of a slow download, but you can do it. You also, as you are doing this, you saw me look at that with OBS, you also have a recording that you can have on your computer, which makes it a little bit easier to upload it to something like YouTube or to your website. You also have the ability to embed this video from Facebook into your website, and I highly encourage you to do that as well. That way you can keep people on your website. The last thing that I want to mention is that as you are going through this video, if you are calling out internet resources, like I shared that blog post about OBS, make sure to share the links in the comments. That way the people who aren't attending live can still access them later, or the people who are attending live and you didn't have a chance to share it can go and get that. All right. Well, I think that is about it. We are at 1 hour, and I don't want to take too much more of your time. So please, if you have any questions, go ahead and put them into the chat. I'll follow up with you later on. But otherwise, I hope this was helpful for you. I hope you enjoyed watching. And if you do go on and stream a service or a Bible study, please feel free to share it with me. Share it with us here at Concordia Technology Solutions. We'd love to see how the resources that we put out are used in the congregation. So thank you so much. Again, my name is Peter Frank. Have a great day.